Let's run through. Let's run through the news. I did remember to keep the mic on. Um, my eyes. Whew. Sorry about that. Getting a lot of beeping from my system. All right, you may hear that. Just ignore it. So Russia bombed the hospital, right? New Mom's hospital. This is what happens when you war in cities, right? Didn't America bomb a hospital in Iraq, right? So I mean, I don't really see. Like I said, George Bush doesn't leave America because other people think he committed war crimes in Iraq, right? He's responsible. Uh, as a former president, right? But why would he need to? And if he did, it would just cause an international incident with the biggest, strongest country in the world, and you would have to return him, right? But why bother? Why would you? Um, yeah. So I don't think Putin is. Hey, William, good to see you. I don't think Putin is going anyplace. Uh, but if he is out of power and alive, he's not gonna leave Russia, right? Some claim he's worth about $500 billion, right? 700 billion dollars, upwards of that, just because of the theft and the graft over the last 20 years. So, I mean, he gambled and won so far. Well, I mean, he runs a nation, right? Why he's got an army, right? He exists above the law as a head of state. Once that all ends and you're just a regular Joe again, we'll see what happens. It's the opposite of what I said about Prince. Uh, Edward Prince. Who's who's the pedo Prince guy? Albert, right? Why he wasn't going to jail and why this whole thing was going to go away, right? He's he. The whole country watched him be born and grow up, right? They watched every walk and step and first date and awkward car drive and joining the military and all of it. He was not going to go to jail. They're not putting him in jail. He's got immunity to shit. Meanwhile, everybody else around that who wasn't, just like I said with Clinton, he's not going to jail. Just like I'm saying with Trump, Trump is not going to jail, right? But all those around him will, because those people are regular people. Once you hit a that head of state thing, it is rarefied air, baby. And you should know how it works. We're not, and thank you, Andrew. We're not all it's nice to say that we're all equal, but we're not all equal. And, we should stop saying that. And some people shouldn't be equal because let's be clear, there are still people who want to kill all the presidents, right? Because they launched wars and did all this shit. And people have, so they need security forever. It makes sense. I don't know why the vice president doesn't get security forever. His security runs out after 8 years. Then he's just walking around doing whatever. But I'm like, he's still sat in on some of the right. One just goes back to being regular, and one is still essentially very presidential. He gets an armed guard at detail. He gets briefings still. He gets, I don't know. It's weird in some senses to me. Yeah, well, here's the thing about smart bombs, right? William asked what happened to smart bombs. There are several types of ordinances, as I understand it. Some of that is just launch and forget it, right? And that's what's been American, not American. That's what's been human warfare since the dawn of time, right? Like throwing a rock and hoping to hit something. Those guys have a lot of those rockets, and those are rockets, right? They're not guided munitions. They fire them from a truck, and they launch them into this, and they land where they land, and they blow up what they blow up. Uh, we don't use that anymore. This is another thing why I keep saying Russia and China can only hope to fuck with America through sheer number, right? Because their armies on a one-on-one would get decimated, would absolutely be lunch, just because I don't. I say we like the war flippantly, but we're good at all the war shit. right? And at one point, it was England with their navy. I'm not their navy. England, yeah, with their navy, and Spain with their navy. When navy warfare was a thing, right? So first it was Spain, then it was England, and then it switched to land warfare again, right? Blitzkrieg was a thing. Nobody was fighting on, right? And they were just running over people's armies and doing all that wild shit. So I mean, it is what it is. Excuse me. But now it's America, and you know shit changes, right? Maybe one day it'll be someplace else. But with the invention of look, Germany was once the power, and I want to say in like 1910, right? 1914, they had the submarines. They were dominating the sea. They were blowing shit up. No one could fuck with them. They were like, "Hey, this is unfair. You're blowing up. Like you got an unfair advantage." Essentially, crying. And Germany going, "What are you talking about? Unfair? This is war." So then people decided how they kind of like stepped up their game, got their own submarines, got in the game by World War II, and then it became about production, production and logistics, as the general said last Sunday on Meet the Press. So you get all the shit, but then you have to get all the shit to the place. So we were able to make more planes and then get those more of those planes to the place. And while making more planes, we were able to. It became a game of attrition, right? You blow up more of their planes, but they can't make them as fast as you can make planes, and they can't make train pilots as fast as you can train pilots because they're a tiny little island, and you're a giant continent spanning power, right? So it's that. Out the edges. So people are connected, uh, and some people are above shit. And quite frankly, as I grow older, I get it. You know, I get it. Some people should get perks because they've led lives that allow people to do some shit, right? So if you're extra smart and you manage to put a man on the moon, I think you should get like a perk for that. Just like if you're extra brave and you manage to, win the Purple Heart, I think you should get perks for that. The idea of just being thrown back into the society as a regular Joe is looks good on paper, but they don't do that. They always rig the system. So just have an official rigged system, right? Where I go, oh, if I join the military and win X, Y, or Z, when I come home, I know that I can get a break on my car insurance or my home loan or whatever, which they get, right? But it should also be, oh, if I win the Nobel Peace Prize and bring honor to my state, right? Then maybe statewide I get a break, but they're gonna, so that's ridiculous for nobody, But meanwhile, they're not paying taxes, they're not fighting wars, and they get all the benefits and all the breaks. So I mean, just call it what it is. We'll be less dishonest. Um, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet. It rained all day today. I love a rainy day, man. I gotta tell you, I really do love a rainy day. What were we doing here? We were looking up. Do we want to look at more of these atrocities? Ugh. Why do you care about Cardi B's kid? Asian man who was attacked with a hammer in the New York subway prompts hate crime investigation. Yeah, why would you attack a random stranger with a right, whether it's a white guy on a black guy or a black guy on a white guy or what this on a what that. Once I mean America has racial issues. Prince Spaghetti Day. I do remember that commercial. What's up, Emmanuel? Um, Prince Spaghetti Day. You've got me. Yeah, you've got me. You're taking me back to like localized commercials in the Northeast. When it was, is that the one where they had they threw ketchup on it, right? And they called it the scandal. William up in the chat causing trouble. Um, some of these bombings are ridiculous. And remember that video I showed you guys of the helicopter 3 days ago? That thing is gonna make a billion. It's gonna be. It's mm, it's the kind of footage that makes people rich, right? It's on YouTube. It must have like I want to say 3 million views in like 4 days. That's like a million views a day. That's pretty impressive. it'll peter out. But if that's being watched that heavily on YouTube, you can dang sure bet it's got the same or better numbers on Facebook or Instagram or any of these other things that would allow something like that to be shown because some people. Here, okay, quick rant for a second. Let's rant about these tech companies. The idea that we're here in America, right? The idea that I, if I express my opinion in a way that I'm allowed to do under the Constitution of these here United States of Americas, right? The platform can ban me or because they have a stricter policy of what free speech is, which I think is bullshit. I think it's censorship. Your free speech policy should be no more severe than your nation's free speech policy, right? It feels to me like an end run around your right to have some of these debates. And don't get me wrong, I'm talking debates. I totally get. I shouldn't be able to come up here on anybody's platform and spew hatred, right? I don't like the. I was trying to come with a group that like no one would not like, and I was gonna say midgets, but then I realized midgets is now a pejorative, right? So one, just call people what they want to be called, quite frankly. Unless it really bothers you in your craw and it becomes and this happens, right? What is your pronouns? I was freaking out when that was a thing. I was like, what is my pro? That doesn't make any sense. Look, uh, controlling language is how they control you, right? So if you're willing to buy into all this language stuff, okay, but some people don't, and those people are resistant, right? And that's always how it starts. Controlling you first by language and rebuking you if you view it differently. And some people just give in to live and let live. Like, all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, stop picking in my house. I apologize. I believe dogs and cats should live together. All right, leave me alone. But other people will die on the cross, as it were. Yeah, they do. The manual says the government should make laws on these tech companies because they void our freedom of speech. They absolutely do. The idea that you can censor a former president of the United States is outrageous to me. It's outrageous to me, right? It's like they all conspired to do it because they're all doing it. Even and I said this when a homie got kicked off of of a reach streamer that we all know about. I was like, look, if you can't take on his ideology, why are you listening to his show? It's a core tenet that we don't ban shit in America. Now all of a sudden we're banning stuff. People are talking about the Ukraine. I read something yesterday on the show about they're like, they have a giant neo-Nazi problem. A giant neo-Nazi problem. So I'm glad that the president is Jewish, right? And yeah, Vladimir Putin was absolutely full of shit about saving anybody from the Nazis. But don't act like we're raising money and I mean for and Zelensky, you know, Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Poland, the president of the of Ukraine, really wants the West to win this thing for him. I mean, I think he's doing well. I'm looking at these videos like these videos look part amateur hour, Monty Python, part sketch comedy, farmers stealing rocket launchers, right? But it also looks just kind of like, wow, you walked into like a buzzsaw, right? You've got like five tank guys separated from the whole division. So now they're essentially 30 guys, which can easily be 30 guys can be taken. Look, 30 guys against me and my drunk buddies at a barbecue. Yeah, we're gonna get our ass kicked. But 30 guys against a neighborhood of anybody is gonna get wiped out. Um, it's looking like what is going on over there. Uh, and I can't. I feel bad at this point. I feel bad for the Russian soldiers because I feel like at every step. I watched a video yesterday. I should show it to you where they dropped a rocket from a drone, and you just see this guy walking with his hands in his pocket, and it was like bullseye. And it just and you see it's got like a little like parachute thing, not parachute, like propeller fan thing, and it wobbles and he it just and you see a puff of smoke. It's in black and white. I wonder if I can show it to you. Puff of smoke, but you also see like a bit of something, chunk of something goes flying, and the body falls to the ground. The hands never come out the pocket, and now it's a headless body. And I was just kind of like, what kind of? And then they show aftermaths of plane crashes and some because on YouTube you don't see a lot of dead corpses, but some you can click on and say this has serious imagery. Do you really want to see this? And I was like, yes, I really want to see that. Clicking, then you'll see like a three uh one two three tanks um and like eight bodies in the street. One hanging off the tank, two burned to a crisp in front of one, two further off away from one. They look like they got shot up. I'm just kind of like, this is just if. Here's the thing about the American military and why they got such a hard time in Iraq. They were both trying to do two things. They were trying to fight an insurgency while being close to the people, right? Um, Normally, there's a cordon. You're not getting there near any military people, period. Whether they're your own military or they're off in the theater, they call it, right? I can't drive onto a military base without ID, right? I mean, they're wholly a separate mystical unicorn, right? So the idea that now you've got small groups of men in tanks all over the place who can be attacked at will, at random, is just bananas to me, right? I think you would not get close to the amount, and when they come walking through your town, there's not going to be like 30 or 40 of them, or 10 or 12 of them, right? The American military come cruising through your set. I mean, it's going to be like 3,000 of them, right? They're going to have a base, they're going to have helicopters, and they're going to have tanks with air support, and the dudes walking across the road will be separated 60 feet from each other across the road, as well as 30 feet from the guy in front of each other. Um, and when the first crack sounds, everybody's going to take cover and start triangulating your position. And if they can't move because you've got them pinned, they will call down air support and all this other shit, right? Versus them going, we ran out of gas. Well, we can't stay here dressed in this, you know? So now you gotta. Meanwhile, while this is going on, your compatriot soldiers might be 25 miles down the road shooting shit up with a tank. So there's no sympathy for you. I'm 19. Why am I? No one gives a fuck. You're an invading army. It's really just fucked up. It's all kinds of what is going on over there, right? So yeah, I don't know. Again, not military. Uh, I know as much about military as I've learned on TV, right? But some of this stuff seems like just a bad call. And they're wiping out rank too, right? They got like three lieutenant colonels last week. I don't know how many lieutenant colonels or generals died in the Iraq War. You want to look that up? But I'm pretty sure it was almost none. Rank of, and if it did, it was probably an airplane crash or something, which happens. Rank of soldiers, the soldiers. Oh, good lord! I even want to look this up. This is morbid. Now I'm just curious. What was the highest ranking soldier? Staff sergeants. What's going on with my? I'm about to say, what is going on with my 9/14/2020 Kuwait? Non-hostile vehicle crash. All right. Oh, he was deployed in Kuwait, and okay, just a random car accident. All right. Excellent. Oh, good lord. Lieutenant. Oh. All right. Lieutenant. First lieutenant, second lieutenant, aviation boatswains, captains. Oh, there's a lot of captains. I guess captains are out in the field. Chief warrant officer, corporal. Corporal is above private, right? I think it is. Gunnery sergeant, lance corporal. I should know the rank of private, private sergeant specialist. Wing commander, United Kingdom, Basel helicopter crash. First lieutenant. Really? All right. All right. Well, okay. Just I can't even. It's a little too morbid for me. All right. But yeah, we were talking about how your rights can be circumvented on Facebook by posting stuff that's perfectly legitimate that someone will have a problem with and will report you, and all of a sudden you can't report about several groups without being called an anti-Semite or a racist outright or a sexist or anything otherist, right? Um, yeah, I think they have too much power. They need to be dealt with, and you should be able to see it and say for yourself, "Oh, that guy's an idiot. Why is anybody listening to that stupid show?" Right? And then you know that Sean Show, who believes that um, there's a cabal of all the isms, right? The blacks and the Jewish and the women isms and the feminists, and they all got together to make sure that my favorite soap opera was canceled. And every day I rage about it as I insult them. You can go, that guy's a freaking idiot. What is he raging on about? Even as he says, these insulting things. I hate to say it, but people get insulted, and you should be able to insult people. Hateful shit is different, right? I think hateful shit implies go do hateful things, but I should be able to go. That guy sucks. I should like you can't say that about anybody. You can't say that about fat people, and I think it's language controlling, right? And I think that also lends itself to how you disagree is important. Some people do it very cleverly, but you should still be allowed to do it. Uh, and like I said, not they're painting everything as hatred. Not everything is hatred. Um, I give an example. I once had a I once had a fight. Um, I don't want to tell you that story. But that fight could easily have been construed as uh, oh, hey, let's just make it. If you had a fight, if you are a white guy and had a fight with a black guy, or you're a black guy who had a fight with a Latino, or you're Latino who had a fight with an Asian, or an Asian who had a fight with a white, any of the you outside of your race conflicts, and it's just a fight that, and men have fights, right? And let's say it was over the classic, you bumped into me and knocked my drink out of my hand, right? And you both came to words, and he knocked you on the head, and you knocked him on the head, and the cops show up. First of all, I think that I like nobody's going to the hospital. Bygones, get out of here to both of you. or I'm going to get you for assaulting each other, right? And either state will be the complainant, or get you for assaulting each other and disturbing the peace. I mean, sometimes men can work shit out without always having to end up in jail, being rebuked like they're boys. I think a lot of this society is about controlling you, whether all while talking freedom about controlling you, and several ways they do that is the language and how you can disagree. You know, what is the proper way to do that? uh, Better O'Rourke. I want to see. Here's the thing. Some of these states, I just, I just think it's cabals. Why would you send somebody who doesn't do anything for you just to war in Texas? Like that Natalie Taylor Green lady. She hasn't done anything but disagree to since she got there. It's just kind of like, shouldn't something be going on? Family of ex-Marine held for years in Russia. Talks with Biden. Oh, good talks. Here's the thing about people held in, and now they got that basketball lady. Look, there's conflict in the nation, and they will hold you. They killed that Wormler guy in North Korea, right? Uh, Stop acting like other countries have to listen to America. Why are you going to these places? There's a lot of places people go I don't get. But okay. But then, I mean, it's so super rare that anything goofy happens. But then when it does, people are just, I don't know. Should I even see if I can find that video? I think I'm gonna try and show you guys this video because this video is crazy. And it's on YouTube, so I don't think I'll get a hit. But I do. Um, Hold on. Good lord, I watch a lot of freaking videos. Some I watch 3 and 4 times. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ooh, that's not it. Yeah, some of this drone footage of people getting murked off is just, yeah, it looks like war crimes to me. But like I said, he won't be leaving not Iraq. He won't be leaving Russia after he's the prime minister. Um, so yeah, where is this video? Here it is. All right, so we're gonna put this here. Oh, stop it. We're gonna put this here. Um, we're gonna shrink this down. I wonder if I can actually find it without him showing it to me. All right. Nope. I guess. Oh man, I don't want to get up. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna show you this. Uh, where did he get it? All right, hold on. Let's mute this. Okay, we're gonna show it to you. Let me let me dig this up because I'm telling you, man, it's the most ridiculous thing I've seen. Um, all right, so let's go here. So there's a guy walking right here, right? We can see he's just walking, right? We can all see him. They tinted this down because there's a red car down here. I don't know what that's about. Hold on, let me. So there's this guy. This is the Ukraine. He's walking. Ukrainian quadcopter makes direct hit on a Russian proxy. Proxy is a soldier, right? Russian soldier with a mini bomb. Here we go. Hold it. This this right here is like his head. So yeah, it's goofiness like this. Let me do this and get back in here. I mean, what do you do? What I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. Like from come on, stop being ridiculous. There you go. There you go. From farmers stealing rocket launches to stuff like this to actual just I mean that guy's dead. Like it's it's ridiculous, but it's still someone died, right? To this thing that I watched yesterday where this guy's just walking down the street showing the corpses of this tank squad that just got decimated, right? Three tanks, nine guys. The first two were killed in the tanks. The last three were killed outside of the tanks. Burned to a crisp. One lying face down. Blood looked like he was shot. Two further away, they were definitely shot. They were next to each other. Looked like they were running together. I don't even know what to tell you. The idea of it is just freaking ridiculous. Do you want to see it again? I wonder if I'm gonna. Let's go back to edit. That's outrageous. I'll show you one more time because I'm telling you, some of this stuff is ridiculous. Here we go. So here's the gentleman walking along, right? He probably was talking to the man, what are we even here in Ukraine? I got the wife and kids back home. I'm gonna take a smoke and take a piss. I'll be right back, Jerry. Okay, Sergey. Just an amazing. I mean, wow. All right. Why does this keep popping up? That should not be so present on stream. Uh, are we going to keep this up and look for other stuff? I think we're going to keep this up and look for other stuff. Is it raining again? No, it's not. I got to tell you, we some days it don't pay. So yeah, people have been giving uh, a lot of like lip service to like these things, like war in the Ukraine is somehow different than war in the Middle East. Um, Goes to show, right? Uh, I'm not even going to read it. But here's a woman we were talking about, Brittany Grenier, her mugshot her, in Russia. You know why? She had CBD oil on her. And this is why when you travel abroad or going to the airport, whatever suitcase you take, you empty out. I mean, you really, you run through, you zip it up, you run through all the pockets, you run your fingers in there just to make sure it's not jammed in like the side lining or something. And you root your fingers around it. You make sure it's empty. You make sure it's empty. She had a CBD container, and that's drugs. The girl is 6'9", two-time Olympic gold medalist, and yeah, has they're gonna have cannabis oil in her luggage and accuse her of smuggling. That carries up to 10-year sentence in Russia. She's stupid. You know, I'm tired of just because you're rich and part of this elite system of nonsensory. Stupid is stupid. Stay in your small pond in your giant house. But like somebody told me they go to these places to play in the off season here because the millions you make isn't enough. You know what? You're distasteful, and now I don't care. I mean, people are going to Saudi Arabia. What did the golfers say about the golf thing he was trying to get with Saudi Arabia? Hey, look, yeah, so you killed that guy, and I know, but this is really our chance to make a lot of money and stick it to the PGA or something flippant like that. And people are like, your whole argument is flipping about the guy who was murdered, and it's flipping and greedy about why you want this money. And I think yesterday he came out with a statement. This was like 3 weeks ago, and then yesterday he came out with a statement saying, "Yeah, yeah, I was really missed the mark, and I was flipping, and it was unprofessional. I really apologize to all parties involved, and I'm going to step back and take time to myself and figure out what my, you know." And he's worth $100 million, and he'll be back in 6 months talking shit with a fake apology. These people are not serious. Like I used to say, if they could sell you parade babies in a can, they would. And we're good. We're getting to that point in this society where people are gonna. It won't be distasteful. Really, it's not. It's officially not distasteful. How can we market this? It's just everything for money. Everything for money. Okay. Society cannot maintain like that. Wow, it is cold out there. All right. Yeah, it's colder than I thought it was. But again, now she's the basketball lady is an international pawn, and a lot of those guys are sitting in jail for long periods of time. There are 3 Americans in Russian jails now. Two Marines charged with spying, and her charged with smuggling. Just a dummy. Just, I mean, it's unnecessary drama when serious landscapey changing stuff is going on. You are now a distraction, right? Some Going back to what I said earlier about people being above it, like being former presidents. You are not. You know what I mean? Even active, but once you hit that level, you're never a regular citizen again. And it's her thinking I'm a millionaire American celebrity sports star who doesn't love me. You know who don't love you? America's enemies. And now they you know, you get to be a side thing. And nobody's, I mean, Russia didn't let those other two guys out. What makes you think they're going to let her out? She's been there for, I want to say she's been there for 2 weeks. Now, how long has this invasion been going on? 2 weeks? She's been there for 10 days. There you, blah, 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 blah. All right. This is the editorial. Editor's note. Penile E. Joseph. His name is Penile. Peniel. Peniel? Penile? Peniel. Penile Shin. There's another penile. What does penile mean? Face of God. Penile, probably from Hebrew. Penile, literally, face of God. Placed on the Jabbok River in the Jordan, where Jacob wrestled with a stranger and received a blessing. Jacob's wrestling with strangers and receiving blessings. All right, this is bibliography stuff I do not know. Uh, how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it? Pronunciation. All right, here we go. Pronunciation. It.
Peniel. Peniel.
Peniel.
Peniel. Peniel.
Peniel.
Peniel. Peniel.
Peniel. It's not penile. I'm sorry. It's Peniel. All right. Oh my God. So Peniel E. Josephs is a Barbara Jordan Chair in Ethics and Political Values. See, ethics and political values are localized events, right? You have some in your house, you have some in your community, you have some in your state, and you have some in your nation, right? And every nation is different, and they expand as you grow out. Uh, the news of Brittany Greer, 6'9" two-time Olympic gold champion, blah, 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 has been detained in Russia. Sporting World has the Sporting World, the sports world rather, and anyone concerned about the plight of Americans in Russia in custody on the edge with good reason. Like many WNBA players, Grinder spends time annually in Russia playing for professional leagues that offer a salary multiple times larger than her NBA. So you went for greedy reasons, and now you're stuck there. Russian authorities have said Grinder had cannabis oil in her luggage and accused her of smuggling a narcotic substance, an offense that carries a penalty for up to 10 years in prison. The 31-year-old who also Paulo how long she been there? When did this happen? This is, I mean, people write shittier and shittier all the time. But I mean, it's a society, right? If you're complaining about the education system, stop acting like uh, the adults won't be miseducated because they were once young people in the education system. Uh, I could know more, absolutely. All right, so what is her name? Brittany? All right, so when did this happen? Congresswoman demands. See, now everybody's just gonna grandstand and murky the water. When did this happen? People are ridiculous. This is getting a lot of press, though. All right, so here we go. Sometimes you get far too much information. Okay. So it's got to be around here. Yep. All right. Page 4. Brittany Grant scores 30 points. Page 3. Detained in Russia. It'll be very difficult to get detainee U.S. basketball star Brittany out of really. It's like anything for money in this country. It's like when they were selling, like visiting trips to North Korea. Why are you going to North Korea? But when though? This is a change.org published on March 7th. So, all right. So this was 2 days ago. This is how hard is it to find? Oh my gosh! All right, do we have to go to her Wikipedia page? We're gonna have to go to her Wikipedia page. All right, da 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 da. What is this? Personal life, honors, see career stats, life and career. Really, this there's no mention of this. 6'9". I mean, Jesus. Okay, here you go. Arrest in Russia. February 2022. No date, huh? Hashish oil. She's ridiculous. Holding her hostage as response to the Western sanction imposed against Russia in response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Sheila Jackson, another useless person, sits in Congress and does absolutely dick. Um, February. So where are we? We're the ninth day into March. Yeah, this was a couple of days after. I don't want to say it's 10 days. I don't even know what to tell you. Some people don't make any sense. That movie, Midnight Express, is a genius of a movie. With wait, am I thinking the right movie? With Robert De Niro and why am I thinking Cloris Leachman? No, it's not. It, what is his name? It begins with a C, right? It's on the tip of my tongue. It begins with a G. It's I don't want to look it up because I can almost feel it coming to me. It's Grover Griever Midnight Express with Brad Davis. Hold on. No, not Brad Davis. What am I thinking? Midnight Express. Midnight Express. Charles Grodin is what I'm thinking. So what are you thinking? You're right. I am thinking of Midnight Run. Midnight Express, 1978 prison drama film directed by Alan Parker. Alan Parker. David Putnam and written by Oliver Stone, based on Billy Hayes' 1977 nonfiction book Midnight Express. Oh, Midnight Express! I remember this when they smuggled drugs into Taiwan and got executed. Right? Is this it? Uh, Hayes was a young American student sent to a Turkish prison for trying to smuggle cheap oil out of the country. The film, right? Billy Hayes later they expressed their regret for how the film's title is "Prison Slang for an Inmate Escape Attempt." Midnight Express. All right. Plot. On vacation, Billy Hayes, 2 grams of hashish bricks in his chest. Yeah, it's hard to say you're not smuggling when they catch you. Because as soon as they catch you, they strip you down. You can see you taped up. Like, oh, you didn't know you were taped up with bricks of heroin, cocaine, weed, pot, whatever, right? Oh, you didn't know you had this stuff in you. You ate the. It's really hard to beat these cases, and some people like it's always as it's not a lot here because we're far away, but a lot of Australians go to like these Asian places to Taiwan and Fiji. Remember the a terrorist attack? Uh, that was killed a whole bunch of like Australians down in not Fiji. Where was it? Um, Tahiti. Was it Bali? I think it was somewhere around there. Muslim extremists. So they do this shit. They'll get caught in like Taiwan and they'll send the body back because no, they never let anybody out of it. Hey, let it be. Good to see you. Yeah, Broke Down Palace is another one with Claire Danes about smuggling. People are, man, don't mess with these countries. Just don't do it. They always meet some smooth talking guy in some bar that you're not supposed to, and then he'll whine and dine you. Wow, he's so great. Hey, why don't you do this thing for me? And then before you know it, you're in over your head with foreign traffickers. Says the prison is dangerous for foreign. No one can be trusted, not even a partially sycophantic prisoner named Rifki Billy in prison becomes harsh and brutal. Terrifying scenes of physical and mental torture follow one another. Billy has a breakdown. He brutally beats Rifki, killing him. He is sent to prison board for the insane, where he wanders about in the days among the other disturbed catatonic prisoners. 1975, Billy's girlfriend Susan visits him, devastated by Billy's condition. She tells him he must get out or else die. She leaves him a scrapbook with money hidden inside to help Billy escape. Her visit certainly helps Billy regain his senses. He bribes Himidu, who takes Billy to a room where then tries to rape him. They struggle until Himidu is killed after being pushed into a wall, his head impaled upon a coat hook. Billy dons a guard's uniform and walks out of the front door. Billy dons a guard's uniform and walks out the front door to freedom. The epilogue shows that in October 1975, Billy successfully crossed the border to Greece and arrives home 3 weeks later. The difference between the book and the film. Various aspects of Billy's story were fictionalized or added to the movie. In the movies, Hayes is in Turkey with his girlfriend when he's arrested. In real life, he was traveling alone. Although Billy spent 70 days in prison psychiatric hospital in 1972, in the book, he never bites out anyone's tongue, which in the film leads to him being committed to a section for criminally insane. The book ends with Hayes being moved to another prison on an island from which he eventually escaped by sitting on a dinghy rowing 17 miles in a raging storm across the Sea of Marmara, traveling by foot and by bus to Istanbul, and then crossing to the border into Greece. In the film, the passage is replaced by a violent scene in which he unwittingly kills his head guard who is preparing to rape him. In the book, Himdu, the chief guard, was killed in 73 by a recently paroled prisoner who spotted him drinking tea at a cafe outside the prison and shoots him 8 times. The attempted rape scene itself was fictionalized, but Billy never claimed in the book to have suffered any sexual violence at the hands of either his Turkish guards, wardens, or fellow inmates, but engaged in consensual homosexuality activity while he was in prison. However, the film depicts Hayes gently rejecting the advance of a fellow prisoner, Eric the Swede. All right, so they're saying in the movie there was a whole bunch of rape going on with him, but in the book, mind you, this is the 1972. Even if it was rape, he wouldn't have told anybody. He wouldn't have put it in the book, right? But oddly enough, he did admit to, oh, I was in jail and I did have some sex with some men. But I don't know if was that in the book or did he mention this later. So yeah, the this is what happened. You sell your story to Hollywood, they have the right to change it, and then it becomes a totally different freaking thing by the time they're done with it. So they're saying he was on an island and he stole a dinghy and sailed it in a raging sea to Istanbul, and from Istanbul he crossed the border into Greece. Versus in the movie they're saying he just walked out. Huh? Nominate one Oliver Stone best screenplay, best original score. Won a lot. Best direction, best actor supporting role. John Hurt, best film editing, best motion picture. One best motion picture. Oh, Golden Globe. I'm sorry, best motion picture. There's a lot of these that it won. The Academy Award. It won two Academy Awards: best original score and best screenplay. It won a lot more. Wow, that's amazing. Huh? Is this film was mostly shot in the lower parts of Fort St. Elmo in Valletta. Why would you? Why would you? I don't even know why you would. Smuggling in a foreign country. Why would you? Ugh. I say it all the time. There was a movie when I was a kid. Uh, with what was his name? He's long ago movie star. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Cagney, Jimmy Cagney, James Cagney, and it's they were stealing all these watches, right? And the last song is "I never accidentally smuggled anything." Exactly. He's singing the song "Never Steal Anything Small." And I'm telling you, you learn lessons. I really do believe this. You will learn a lesson from all manner and all corner of the world, whether it's a weird joke or a poem or a scene in a movie, right? It doesn't always have to be in a classroom. It could be something someone does, and you'll go, huh, right? So this movie, Never Steal Anything Small. I just like the song and the premise of the movie. And as a little kid, I thought to myself, and this was about the time I think I saw Papillon about the same week. We used to have something called the 4:30 movie in New York, and it was awesome. So I would get home from school in the winter, uh, and they would have like Monster Week, right? They would have Godzilla Week. They like that's So anyway, I would watch all these like weird movies at 4:30 in the afternoon before my parents got home and cooked dinner. Steve McQueen in what Bullet? I saw like what Steve McQueen what? Um, no, right, Papillon. I'm sorry. With you know who I was thinking of? The guy with the glasses. Who's the guy with the glasses? Dustin Hoffman. Right, Steve McQueen was Papillon in that movie, wasn't he? God, man, my brain is a mess. Pappion, right? No, it was one Pion, Papillon or something like that. Pappil. There's two L's. That's the new one. 1973. Steve McQueen, Dustin Hoffman. Right. All right. First of all, that's a great movie. I lost my train of thought. Uh, so these 4:30 movies, right? The Never Steal Anything Small thing. After that movie, I was like, man, if I go to jail, I'm not going to jail for anything stupid, right? And then this movie comes on. It's like, and they're trying to steal watches. They were trying to steal these. It's like really expensive, but and he was at the end of it. His premise at these the song and dance as he's being carted away with the cops in handcuffs. And back in the days, he had one handcuff on him and one handcuff on the cop. And there's this big song and dance about if essentially make it fucking worth it, right? So someone goes, "Oh, wow, he got caught," but man, I totally get it, right? Because you're gonna get the same amount of freaking time. Um, Stealing 500. Look, if you hear Sean got away with $30 million, that's what I'm talking about. Because you're gonna do the same amount of freaking time, Belova. Were those the watches never steal anything small? James Cagney, Kyra Williams, Shirley Jones. All right, let's get the let's get the wiki on this. All right, James McElhaney will do just about anything to win the presidential election of Longshoreman in local Union 26 when he encounters a young, upright attorney Dan Cabot and Cabot's attractive wife Linda. Wait, what is this? James Cagney, Shirley Jones, right? Why is this? Why is this plot only two do break up their marriage and pines a grand larceny rap on Dan and I'm sorry, pines and pins a grand larceny rap on Dan, all set to music. There's more. There's more than this to this, right? Why do I remember it as a heist movie? What? It's a romance? Get out of here! All right, let's go over here. Jack McElhaney will do just about anything. That it's the same sentence. I wonder if there's any video of this. It's probably owned by somebody. Uh but they don't even tell you what the heist is. This is what I mean by lazy writing. That's not even a good write up of what the movie is about. Right? It's two sentences and it could be anything. Where's the tongue in cheek borrowing from guys and dolls on the waterfront seems to be mixing with a toss salad of gangland musical comedy. They don't have any. Does no one have never said anything small? Synopsis. 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 All right, what do we got here? No, not Wikipedia. You failed me. Rotten Tomatoes, you failed me. Turn to classic movies. What do you got? Come on. Why am I keep clicking on you and nothing happening? Ah, in his final musical performance, plays a crooked dock worker and steward for the local, I don't know what that is, union in New York. He cheats, he schemes, he occasionally embezzles funds, but he is somehow still a lovable chap who is well liked by the rank and file. He dreams of becoming the union president and hires a straight laced lawyer, Dan Cabot, Roger Smith, who I guess never made it big, to help him keep one step ahead of the law. This is when musicals was dying. So Roger Smith wanted to be a musical star when music was dying, and James Cagney had been a musical star for 30 years and decided to get a little more serious with it. Right? Uh, Actually, he started out as a gangster star. He broke out in that way. Dan is married to the lovely Linda Cabot, Shirley Jones, Mrs. Partridge, whom Jake covets badly enough to enlist the aids of his sometimes girlfriend, Winnipeg Simmons, a gorgeous redhead played by Cara Williams. I don't know who she is either. Why, uh, why Jake, something, is name, satisfied with the Winnipeg is a mystery, but he manages to convince her to seduce Roger away from his wife so Jake can move in. Meanwhile, Jake is plotting with his fellow longshoremen to remove the current union boss, Pinelli, Nehemiah Persoff, and his stooge Sleep Out Charlie Barnes, Jack Alberson. Sleep Out Charlie Barnes, what a name. Uh, Jack wheels and deals his way from the cops. Hold it. Jack wheels and deals his way through the union election, manages to steal into good lord man, manages to stay out of harm's way from the cops. Penelius, there's a weird thing there. I think it's a lira sign with a trademark. Penelia lira sign trademark. And it's all over this article. It's weird. Penelia's thugs, his lawyer, and two women in his life. Ba 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 ba. Seventh way the union looked managed to stay out of harm's way from the cops, the thugs, his lawyer, and the two women in his life. He he borrows freely from the chapter's treasury and manages both friends and foes to achieve his dream position in the union. Jack is likable. Where is this robbery? Carol Picker at the age of 16. Roger Smith as lawyer Cabot worked James Cagney in Lon Chaney's biopic Man of Thousand Faces. Shirley Jones. Meanwhile, Jack is playing with alarm to steal convince. Oh. I sorry, I want a Ferrari sung Winnipeg in the tune composed by yeah, I don't know what I don't know. I may have to rewatch that because man, that doesn't sound like what I watched. Uh, Bulliver. Was he still in Bulliver watches? I was gonna try and find it, but that's another rabbit hole I'm not even going down. But if it was, it would be a really nice trivia question. What kind of watches were being stolen? Um, was it Boulevard watches? I really want to look that up. All right. Ooh, we've got a little under 10 minutes. Ah, Boulevard watches. Ah, the trailer. See, I would love to show you the freaking trailer, but then I'll get a YouTube hit. All right. I don't even know what to say. All right. Well, I guess that's it. All right. Yeah. She looks to be sitting in a Russian prison for a long time because they've had two Russian, two Americans in that Russian jail now for at least 6 to 7 years. One, I want to say 3 years, and one like seven. One more like five. One like 3 years, one like five. Pentagon says Russia appears to be hitting Ukrainian civilians with quote unquote dumb bombs, right? So they are smart weapons, and I guess the military calls them dumb weapons, right? Where you just firing. They used to call them fire and forget. Good lord, how come this thing is not clearing up? Do I have to stick a finger in there? Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's better. Click on the story. Pentagon says Russia appears to be hitting Ukrainian civilians with dumb bombs. Karen Demirjian, Karoun, Karun, not Karen, Karun Demirjian, March 9 at 2:31 p.m. this afternoon. Russia's bombing campaign in Ukraine is growing more indiscriminate as troops mark small but strategic gains on key cities, according to Pentagon's latest battlefield assessment 2 weeks into the war. A U.S. senior defense official said Wednesday there are indications the Russians are dropping dumb munitions, that it was not totally clear whether that is by design or by default, due to the precision guided munitions being somehow damaged. You know what your precision guided missions need? Some of these logistics guys that you have out there who are separated from protection, who are getting hit with these javelin rockets, right? These in-laws they call them, capital NLAW, which is the British version of a javelin, where somebody just pops out from a doorway and hits you with a missile, right? This isn't like World War II where uh, people had to be 10 feet away from the backdraft blast of the damn thing. Not even. Almost silent, no smoke trail. All you see, it leaps out of the container 20, it pushes itself out like with a burst of energy before the engine kicks on. So all that heat and energy is like 10 feet away from the guy who fired the rocket, right? And then before it like hits the ground, it just goes, tss, and then it's off at you. Oh my god! And they just gave them tons and tons and tons of those things. The one good thing I did hear, we talked about it yesterday, that like Poland was gonna go give you all our MiGs, and we're just gonna get all these new helicopters. And I was like, who's gonna? The Pentagon was like, that's a bad idea. So someone in the Pentagon was like, we're just gonna give them a whole new fleet of airplanes. That doesn't make any sense. And we have to protect them while they. That's not. Yeah. I think the workload of that was ridiculous. Hey Bernie, good to see you. I hope all is well. The U.S. assessment comes as a Ukraine accused Russia of striking a maternity hospital in Mariupol, Mariupol, in Mariupol, leaving children buried under the debris. Ukraine does so as an atrocity. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky issued a global challenge. How much longer will the world be accomplished ignoring terror? Close the skies right now. Stop the killing, he wrote on Twitter. You have the power, but you seem to be losing humanity. Hey, whoa, calm down. You can fucking do this shit yourself. Don't fucking throw shade at me. I'm your ally, you idiot. First of all, nobody's trying to start World War III over the Ukraine. And like I said, you know, if he does take it, you better keep these sanctions up. Because if you just let the sanctions go after 6 months, what's the point? Remember that yeah, yeah, exactly. Outrageous bombing a hospital. Remember that reporter who they 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 made his plane land and they carted him off the plane, and before he destroyed his SIM card and started editing out his phone numbers, and then they still have that guy. Nobody knows what happened to that guy. And this is what you're dealing with these people. Um, yeah, I think they've run a country long enough as a kleptocracy. Uh, but if global freaking war kicks off, please let it be on our own terms and not on the terms of some small former Soviet bloc nation. And I said it before and I'll say it again. They should have had their own small anti-Soviet Soviet bloc nation thing happening. They're all getting picked off one by one. It's just so crazy, man. But now to have us escalate the thing with a no-fly zone, I think that might not be good. Dare I say it? Do I want to do I? Yeah, I think I'm going to risk it and say that might not be good. I'm not on that limb. Uh, and again, the war will look very different. This is not World War II. If global war breaks out, cats are just going to get their clock cleaned. And then they'll have no resort but to resort to launching nukes. And here's the question: are all the nuclear deterrents that you have actually workable? Because now's the time, right? It's now or never. Does this shit work or don't it? Uh, Everybody, I mean, look, man, if you got scientists and you're a government, you can come up with nukes, right? The only reason Iran doesn't have one is because we'll keep threatening them, making sure no one works with them. They will have maybe we slowed them up by 50 years, but then they'll eventually get it, and then what? Will there be another North Korea? North Korea talks a lot of swag, right? And then threatened the world with nuclear oblivion when Trump was around, and Trump was like, "Fuck you, you'll go first." And then they calmed down. Now that Trump is gone, they're back at it, right? Now that Russia was calmed, now that Trump is gone, they're back at it. So the world is back to where it was before. Uh, Man, it's like, oh, when was Occupy Wall Street? It's like that. Everybody was protesting the Iraq War and or the money. At that point, we were bombing hospitals, and now we're back the same shit. Right? You voted in Obama because you thought maybe he would stop all these wars and change it and give you a chance at buying a house and going to college and doing all that stuff, American Dream stuff. He didn't do any of it, and then you were desperate enough to go, well, Trump won't be bribed because he's a billionaire. He don't need that money. He says whatever. I like that. We'll give him a shot. He turns out to be a doofus, right? And now you're back to the same. Well, maybe we'll go back to what did they tell you? And you didn't even want to vote for Biden. His wife had to go. You had to hold your nose and vote for Joe. Is her quote, right? And you're back to this same old shit. So I cannot wait to see who the next presidential guy who takes off is, because they're acting like it'll be maybe it's the age, so it'll be some maybe 40-year-old guy to get that Kennedy 1960 swag on both parties, right? But they're both still the product of idiotry and moronitude, and nothing will happen. Right on cue, nothing will happen, and then 4 years after that, we'll look for somebody else. And then I think by the fifth time of this, we'll be shooting at each other. I think the promise, the ship of state is running aground, and just like the ship of state turns slowly, it runs aground slowly. So whoever is gonna save America had better fucking get to it. Better absolutely get to it. Do you think they need a younger president? No, no, Michelle. No, no, no. We don't. We want no dynasties. No more Bushes. No more Clintons. No Michelle Obama. You know, we don't want Hillary or her kid, her daughter, who they're trying to set up for this thing in 20 years. No, none of it. We want none of it. I said it before, and I'll say it again. If you walked into a bar right now and said, how many people in this bar has a family member who's ever ran for office? Not even one, just ran for. You're going to see no hands. And that shouldn't be the way America looks. In that bar of, let's say, 50 people, 100 people, you should get one, two, or three hands. And maybe that was, oh, in the 80s, or maybe it'll be, oh, in the 1920s, or maybe in 1970, in 1776 or whatever. But it will at least imply that your government is run by people of the environment, right? And it's not. It's run by this class of pinheads who enrich themselves and aren't even smart enough to do the base bottom minimum for their constituency, right? So everybody's angry. People ran up. I mean, the people running up in January 6th. They were. I mean, yeah, that was wild. But maybe the liberal or the Democrats wouldn't have ran up in that place. But they've been marching and angry for a while now, right? Steady marching and slowly giving up marching. And now people are raising money on all these causes and doing nothing about the causes. My favorite thing in the modern era is all these interracial commercials. You'll see like the white grandmother with her black grandbabies running around this set where everything is always either white or super light white or sky blue. It's like somebody's weird imagination. That, like on empty streets, it's like TV commercial world. Like what do they call it? What do they call it? Alternate dimensions, like the Marvel universe, right? Whatever that is, TV dimension of that is empty. There's never any neighbors. It's never any mess or any dogs or anything, and they're always telling you this sanitized version of what America is. So now you got race problems. So how do you fix that? You sell Q-tips, detergent, lipsticks, with these multi-racial families all grinning from TV land, like there is no problem here, right? And then you go, I don't have a job. Then the society goes, that's your fault. You didn't do something right. It's you. So if everybody's unhappy, it's only ever the unhappy person's fault. It's a really neat way to make it not your problem, not your fault. We're not accountable, right? It's the plastic thing we talked about all over again. If I wanted to stop using plastic, how would I? Have them pour the liquid in my pocket when I went to buy it, right? I want to quit smoking. How would I do that in an environment that lets the poison be sold, right? It's at this point. Well, don't use plastic. How am I? Don't buy Chinese. How am I not going to buy Chinese? You've completely buy. You have. You know what I mean? So even if you wanted to do the right thing by your neighbor, by yourself, by your school, by your kids and your friends and your family, the society that we live in makes that harder and harder to do. And when you protest it, the fallback is you are the problem who are it's very Chinese socialist. It really is, right? How do you fix the problem? Do people want all sorts of things rather, right? And one of the nobler things is be able to go to college. Stop acting like people don't want to go to college and get educated. People are always complaining about trying to get there, right? So it's not like people don't want to go. You don't want them there because that makes them a smarter populace, and that's dangerous to these people who want their kids to run it, their ex-wives to run it, their future ex-wives or whatever the case may be. All right, what time is it? Woo! It is 8:07. We're gonna put this one to bed. I what am I gonna do? I am gonna let's I am gonna what am I gonna do? I have no idea what am I gonna do. I have no idea. I should come up with a meal plan because I don't have one of those and I'm starving. Um, Maybe I'll watch some Netflix. Anything on Netflix? Good lord, why am I paying for something that I don't watch? Here's the thing: once I stop paying for Netflix, I'll miss it. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna give it like another year. Who am I kidding? I'm not getting rid of Netflix. Something good might show up in 5 years, and then I'll miss it. Uh, I'll probably give it up. I gave up HBO. I didn't see any of the Game of Thrones that everybody was talking about. And when everybody was talking about it, I was like, meh. And then it went off and everybody was crazy, and I was like, meh. And now all this while past it, I'm like, meh. So I guess I didn't feel the need to see it, and I didn't miss it. And I don't watch any crime shows, so I didn't see The Sopranos that everybody loved. But I do miss some of the science fictiony stuff that everybody talks about. You can't have it all, right? First world problems. I need more streaming services. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, men and women. Uh, I, your homie, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Um, it's Wednesday night, right? Your weekend is right around the corner. Plan something. Go someplace. Go to the aquarium. Go to the zoo. Take some pictures. Take the kids. I've been watching guys build guitars online. Um, First of all, where are people getting all this like routers and all this stuff in their garage? Right? Who are these people? Um, but at the same time, craftsmanship amazing. And then on top of that, their guitarists too, because after they build them, they play them. So you're just kind of like, wow, freaking amazing. But it's what could I build? So like I said, I have all this stuff here. I have some Dremels. I've got uh, I'm gonna work in wood. I've got glue. I've got a ton of toothpicks, a ton of chopsticks, and a ton of popsicle sticks. And I should try and come up with something to build. It won't be a guitar. It'll likely be hopefully some functional art. Maybe I'll build a boat. I don't know. Maybe I'll build something as simple as a dance floor with a pole on it. Um, but yeah, work with your hands, right? That's what we want to do. Clean off the table, do some drawing, do some painting. He said from his chair that he's been sitting out for 10 months now. It's been 10 months since I actually made a cooking video. Ship in a bottle. Yeah, hmm. You know, honestly, I always want to build watches. So a long time ago, I saw a guy like the eye monocle thing, like with these tiny little things putting together like a pocket watch. And I've been fascinated by that ever since. And every now and then I look up like kits for like a watch. So, but now that my eyes are getting wonky, maybe I'll just buy one. But I really do believe that we should all have a hobby of something. We should all, and this society makes it hard to even do that. And I think shame on this society because what happens is those hobbies makes it if they burn off steam, they make it less likely that people will march on Washington on January 6th. If you could just go, God damn it, this environment, I just ought to go paint a picture. You only get angry when you can't buy paint or buy a new guitar. You get angry when you can't buy guitar strings. You play basketball with the league at the local Y. You get mad if you can't afford like the gym fees for the local Y, right? They impact you in these really personal ways that I think they don't care about that they should care about. That at the very minimum they should make the small quality of life things steady and uninterrupted to keep their con going. And I don't think they're that smart. It's like Whitney Houston, right? Not smart enough in her entourage, not even smart enough to keep your sacred cow alive, right? So it's that kind of nonsense. All right, America, I love you. World, I love you and want to work with you. We all, I think at this point, all of us average citizens, not people in government, we all want the same thing, right? We want to be able to go to college, maybe start a business and get married and have some kids and take cool Instagram photos of, hey, this is the one I love. We got love in our lives, right? And no, this is my cool friend. We got friendships. And look, we're traveling. We make a little, not everybody's trying to be Jeff Bezos out here, super millionaires, right? But just a little bit in the West. Why can't you do that? because this guy needs a bigger yacht. Meanwhile, you're letting Russian oligarchs lay up in the place where the average citizens who fight in the wars to build this can't. So once you get a certain amount of money, governments doesn't matter. The oligarchs are living it up, owning football teams in New York, in LA, in England proper. Right, they own several Premier League football teams. Why is this allowed to happen? Chinese oligarchs, the same shit. Why is this even allowed to happen? Be a big fish in your own pond. Really is outrageous. How I said before, the amount of people who should be arrested for treason in Washington D.C. is not small. It really is not. All right, I will see you in the next one. The next one is tomorrow. Really? No baseball? Okay, before we go, oh, no, we're not. We're gonna look at it tomorrow. So what am I? I guess I have golf. I guess golf is it. I don't like tennis. What am I gonna watch? I guess golf is it. American pastime. See, this is why golf is a thing, because all the people who had their foot in the door got greedy, right? You can't take your kid to a ball game, and if you have you and your two sons, and you want to go watch a game, it's an exorbitant amount of money. And then on top of that, there's idiots at the game who drink too much, so I guess they're right to be an asshole. America's asshole culture could power a starship. You could get to Andromeda in record time. I think a weekend. There and back. The arrogance of it is ridiculous. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Shame on us for not having baseball. During a pandemic, when you need it. Doesn't make any sense. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Now I'm pissed off. Thank you, William. Have a good night, William. Have a good night, everybody in the chat. Have a good night, Bernie. And let it be. Oh my God. Oh. Uh, have a good night, Emmanuel. No baseball. It doesn't make any sense. Especially when you're going, we all need to get back to normal. Somebody should stand there and make sure they have baseball. The oligarchs. The American oligarchs are just as bad as the Russian ones. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in the next one. The next one's tomorrow, Thursday. Am I going to take off Thursday? No, I'm going to be here Thursday. I normally take a Monday or Thursday, but I like to be here Thursday. Um, am I taking off next week? We haven't figured it out yet. All right, boys and girls. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. You know, you're valuable. I appreciate you at least. I honestly do. And I wish you well. And I'll see you in the next one.